Ryan Quigley, fifth-year man from Boston College, in to punt it away. He'll kick it away after a 3-and-out on the opening drive of the game. He only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. It's taken on the 25. We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. For the first time with Devontae Freeman. And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32. Nine yards still remaining here to pick up the first on 2nd down. They'll need to get the play off quickly. Ryan. They'll set up the screen for Freeman. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. 17 yards on the pickup there, and the drive will continue.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
The former Indiana Hoosier here, Tevin Coleman. And he's brought down. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down. That O-line, they cleared a big hole there on that run.
The athleticism of offensive lines continues to evolve, and we're seeing it here. Not only are they controlling things right at the line of scrimmage, but they're able to get upfield to get to what we call the second and the third levels. You know, get to the linebacker spot, the secondary spot, getting all the way downfield with their blocking, which helps keep the running back clean.
They'll try to continue that trend here this afternoon. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. If these kinds of lanes are available, you have to feel like he's going to have a pretty big game on the ground.
Yeah, you can tell early on he's got a little burst in his step, and that's a big pickup right there on first down.
They snap it at 1. Now Ryan. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he gets the first down here as he's taken down at the 24. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
I like this focus there because he wasn't thinking about breaking that one big. All he thought about was, I need 1. Let's go get that. Ended up picking up 2.
On first down, Ryan. He'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
I like the screen being called here early in the game, especially on the opening drive, because, Brandon, when guys come out of the locker room, especially those pass rushers, they are so amped up to get to the quarterback that you can use that against them, and a screen pass is a great way of doing it. A lot of teams against good pass rushing teams, they want to run the screen 10 to 12 times in a game.
He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 11. Alongside Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin, it's the Falcons in possession to begin quarter number 2, but they face a 2nd and long to start things out. Freeman again. And this time the yards won't come so easy as they'll, in fact, tackle him behind the line. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
So the myth has been shattered. Every cornerback in the league is not just a cover corner. Some of them will stick their nose in there and make plays exactly as we just saw there. A big loss suffered by the offense after that nice tackle.
They go play action with Ryan. And he fires one, but incomplete.
This defense is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
And the 42-year-old veteran's kick is up and good. And the Falcons are out to a 3-0 advantage. And, Charles, they get the field goal. Took them a dozen plays, though.
Work with me on this one. You know what I'm about to say, right? Bend but don't break. That's what came into play here for the defense. 12 plays were run at them. They only gave up 3 points. In a lot of ways, that's a win for the defense.
We remind you, coming up later tonight, we got a good NFC battle. The Eagles and Seahawks from Seattle, coverage starting at 8:30 Eastern. And tomorrow we'll put a bow on Week 13 with an AFC North matchup between the Steelers and the Bengals from Cincinnati. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Grady Jarrett coming up the middle, gets him there for a loss of about 9. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result? Quarterback gets hit.
Now it's the backup Simeon. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6, and it'll be a third and about 13. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back...
Now Simeon stripped. He lost the football, and the Falcons grab it. And he will score. Touchdown, Falcons. So the defense forces the fumble. They get the score, and a guy on defense becoming offensive there, Charles.
And you know they love that. Any guy on defense loves to pick up the ball and have it in his hands and try and score himself. In this case, that's exactly what happened.
He'll be singing in the shower post-game. So here's the kickoff now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first 2 drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now, and I'm going to take it to the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring or moving the ball in basketball.
Latavius Murray. He's at the 30. Touchdown, Vikings. Latavius Murray with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Vikings get the quick strike touchdown. Well called, well blocked, and then he just made a great play. That was an athlete going a long way.
Yeah, how about the suddenness, too, of just getting there and taking off and going? For the defensive guys, plays like that really hurt.
That'll be taken in the end zone. Here are the Falcons as their offense heads back onto the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
Second down, here's Ryan. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. 12 yards there as they move the chains.
When you run a screen pass really well, you got to like the look of it because so many parts come together to make it work well. The offensive linemen where they're faking people out, the back slipping out there, catching the football, then all of them going together as one unit downfield. A really nice pickup.
And he's going to be stopped dead in his tracks at the 41-yard line. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to Atlanta right after this timeout. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Larry Ridley will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. They get 7 there on the screen. It'll set up a third down.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass. Looked like it was coming together. Looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? That looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to him. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you ought to have a few men in the box there.
Deep ball for Goodwin. And that one will fall incomplete. Clock here now, just under 30 seconds to go in this first half.
A lot of contact there, but there was no way it appeared that he was going to get a flag on that one. Looking for it, but he wasn't going to get it. And as an ex-defensive back, you love it when they let you play and jostle downfield.
Deep ball for Goodwin. Where they went for a big play through the air on second down, couldn't connect. Now it's third.
One of the toughest things about playing defensive back is pattern reading, trying to figure out what they're doing. And on that one, they had to fly, just sending a guy downfield.
After review of the play,
the Falcons on third down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. Off the play fake. Here's Ryan. He rifles one that's intercepted. Terrence Newman with a pick. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. Unfortunately for him, if last week was any indication, we knew a pick was coming at some point. Last week it was interception after interception, and here we go again.
We actually quit counting last week at a certain point because I thought I was going to run out of fingers because I'm not all that skilled as a mathematician. But you're right, it felt like a matter of time, and you got to think the guys on defense, they couldn't wait for this opportunity after what they saw on tape.
Here's Simeon now on second down. Over the middle here to Rudolph. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. And this offense going to elect to burn a timeout with 5 seconds remaining in quarter number 2. And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is. And that's the risk of the long field goal miss here at this stage of the second quarter. You give up great field position.
And that gives them one more opportunity to make something happen and something big. And we've seen crazy stuff happen at the end of halves.
He's going to loft one deep left side here. And that is incomplete. So we are at halftime here in Atlanta. Well, we're going to let you off a little easy there, LR. Halftime interrupted, and we are ready to get to this third quarter. Fielded about a yard deep. They'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
Let's see if they do just that. Deep ball for Goodwin. That's caught inside the 20. Touchdown, Falcons. Marquise Goodwin, 76 yards. And the Falcons will extend their lead. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions, and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
And a big collision there as he winds up flat on his back.
try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
That was second down run for Murray. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs.
You and I both know that you don't really truly replace Adrian Peterson, but Latavius Murray's a really good back. Similar running styles, too. Won't wear the same number, we know that. But when you see him run, you might see a little bit of that in him. Upright with some power.
Over the middle, complete. It's Morgan. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
Now a give. This is Murray. And he'll get this up to about the 40. Call it a gain of 5 there on the run, but they'll remain a yard or two short here with 3rd down coming up.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
They'll run here. It's Murray. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down.
Another down on the scoreboard, but the urge to go for it is almost irresistible here on 4th and short. Yeah, I know they're on their own side of the field.
I was going to say.
Normally I would say punt the ball away, but I'm feeling it. I say go for it.
Oh, he takes it in, doesn't let it bounce. He takes it at the 2. Good blocking there, nearly sprung him. As it is, it'll go as a 19-yard return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Atlanta now coming out on the field. And following that long touchdown pass, a 1-play drive last time, see if the defense, you know they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. That's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense, not giving up the long pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
They'll try to get the ground game going with Freeman. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
I know exactly why he tried to throw the ball to Julio Jones there. He's never considered covered. He's either too fast or too strong. You always try and get it to him.
Especially on those deep passes. Second and 10. It's Ryan again. And he rifles one incomplete.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete. They go play action now. Ryan. Deep ball for Goodwin. It's caught at the 10. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Now, that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
Time running out here on the play clock. They'll run here with Freeman. And he'll take this from the 9 down to about the 7.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, this is the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Play clock winding down. Ryan. That's complete right around the 8. And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Devontae Freeman, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Falcons will add on to their lead.
That drive that really increased their cushion felt very military to me. Very precise, methodical. That's one of the words you've taught me. And they just got it done.
And slowly but surely now starting to pull away a little bit. Things looking good for them here in the third quarter.
Not only pulling away, but you mentioned that slowly but surely. You also drain clock, too, with a drive like that. So you really give yourself an advantage.
And he'll be stopped just shy of the 25 with a penalty marker down. Here's the call.
Defense.
Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that would look pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
A handoff. It's Murray. Room to run past midfield. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. He goes for 18 there as the drive will continue.
Well, last year, I'm not sure we saw very many of those runs, did we, from the Vikings? I mean, they had the poorest rushing attack in the league.
Just 75 yards per game, but carries like the one we just saw. Back now here on EA Sports. It's the Vikings in possession of the football, but they need some points. They're trailing here to start the fourth. They go back to Murray on first down. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
And that's one of the few times they've been able to contain him. He's had a heck of a game, and maybe he's getting a little bit tired from how many times he's carried the ball. But I always think back to what all those old coaches say. The ball's not that heavy. Keep carrying it, kid.
On the NFL scoreboard, they are in the third now in New Orleans. The Panthers really trying to pull off one that not many saw. They lead in that one. Cam Newton leading the way offensively. On second down, here's Simeon finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. It's a gain of 9 yards. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 1. And with his size coming out of the backfield, usually takes more than an arm tackle to get him down. That's why they like to get him involved in the passing game.
No doubt about it. You saw him running that angle route there and catching the ball. And with his size, not often thought to have hands, but we're hearing that more and more. Guys are doing a better job of catching the ball at any size coming out of the backfield because they need to be a full part of the offense. Let's give a little credit there. The offensive play caller sensed that the screen pass was available. Whenever you're getting a lot of heavy pressure towards your quarterback, that's when you're thinking about running the screen and using that pressure against the defense. And it worked very well there for a first down.
On 1st and 10, Simeon. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's right. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs. First down and 10 now for the offensive group. From the red zone now, Simeon. And it's caught. And he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
If he's their best threat on offense, use your #1 cover guy on defense. It doesn't matter about size.
They have had him locked up. That just his first catch of the game. Big reason why they're down. Pass incomplete. He was looking for his tight end there, Kyle Rudolph. That'll bring up second down. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
Now Simeon. He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. Kyle Rudolph, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Vikings are able to close the gap just a bit. It's up and good, so they claw back into it, 24-14 now. 2 scores down, 3 timeouts left. Still a chance if they can somehow get this one back. And a good job here by the Falcons. Their hands team able to recover it. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
And he's going to get this inside the 30. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. Throwing now, Ryan on first down. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out, incomplete.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. On second down, Freeman. And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line. Call it about a gain of 3, and they'll be looking at a 3rd and 7 coming up. And in this situation with a lead fourth quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on 4th. Here's Ryan to throw. And that is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Vikings defense is going to get the football back. And he'll have a tough time living that one down. It's one thing, Charles, to drop a pass. It's quite another to drop it on 4th down.
And so many teams work on that in terms of locking in on those key downs. You know, I've seen, you and I both been to practices where we've seen, hey, 3rd down situation, big 3rd down alert, lock in here. 4th down play, make sure you're focused just a little bit extra. It didn't pay off in that situation.
Clock management, definitely critical here if they want to get back in this game.
Absolutely agreed. They have to up the tempo in this case, down a couple of scores. Want to make sure they have a chance to win this ball game.
Simeon. He'll find Thielen work in the middle. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains. To throw is Simeon. And he finds a man on the crossing route. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Kyle Rudolph with his 2nd touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And the Vikings have made this now a 1-score game. It's up and good, and this now becomes a 24-21 ball game. A little less than 90 seconds to go. This will be an onside kick. And a good job here by the Falcons. Their hands team able to recover it. Matt Ryan and the offense heading back onto the field. So as you see the numbers, a very uncharacteristic start, but he's been more characteristic as of late.
And usually we're seeing a very good start out of him because, let's face it, he's one of the best out there. But when he does have a start, as we just saw, would you call it uncharacteristic? You know mentally he's not that worried about it. He knows how good he is and figures he's going to get back on the beam real fast.
And now the Vikings are going to stop it here on defense with a timeout. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. this. Ryan's going to throw it. Now they go screen. It's complete. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this fourth quarter of play. The Falcons on third down. They've hit it 50%, 3 of 6 to this point. This is 3rd and 9. Throwing now is Ryan. He's going to get this one out to his fullback. Now the defense will burn their third and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. And here's a big one now. Try to hold this lead. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. They'll try and throw for it with Ryan. And no, it's incomplete. Dan Quinn's guys unable to come through there on 4th down. And the Vikings defense is going to get the football back. So they've gone for it twice now on 4th down in this game, and both times unsuccessful.
I wish we could hear the headsets now between the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Now that they're 0 for 2, if they get into a third situation, head coach might say, hey, you got anything for this one? Might get radio silence back.
7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. And they get up on it quickly and spike it with just a little over 50 seconds to go. The Vikings on third down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. Here it's 3rd and 3. Back to throw. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. Call it a 3-yard gain, and that'll bring up 4th down. Desperation time for Simeon on 4th. He's going to have his running back. It's complete. And brought down, but the juke, the very nice juke, gives him the first down yardage there. 13 yards on the pickup, and they're able to convert here on 4th and inches. Offense still needing 10 yards, 2nd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take this inside the 30 to about the 29, maybe the 28-yard line. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with 3rd and still 7 yards to go. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This to potentially send us to overtime. And this one is right down the middle. And they will tie this game here in the final seconds. So a money kick there in the final seconds. And now, barring any hijinks on the kickoff here, partner, I think you and I, we're going to settle in for a little overtime.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. This has been a dogfight all through regulation. No reason to think it won't continue in the extra period.
Meanwhile, in Nashville, they're on to the 4th quarter now. It's the Texans firmly in control of that one. They've scored again. If they hold on, it would be win number 10 for them on the year. Now Ryan, staying on his feet, able to fight through one tackle. And he goes down. It's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line. It's a little teaching moment here. Overtime rules. Remind us how this goes, partner.
Okay, so in the past, we had sudden death. First team to score wins, but no longer. Now, if the team receives the ball, scores a touchdown, they win the game. If they kick a field goal, though, or don't score, the other team gets a possession. And after both teams get a possession, then we're into sudden death. First team to score wins the game.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. And out now come the Vikings. Except for their first drive here in overtime. And this is where the crowd can really become a factor.
They've had to battle it all day, but I know what you're saying. In overtime, that gets doubled, doesn't it? At least, because now the crowd really wants to be involved and help their team. And that first drive can dictate the whole thing, because they know if this team takes it downfield and scores a touchdown, it's game over.
It's been loud in here so far. Again, it's Murray. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. So the run gets them the first, and now they operate with a fresh set of downs. They'll run it now out of the gun. Room to run again. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down. They go with the ground game, pick up the first, now in plus territory.
And that changes the whole mentality of a play caller, doesn't it? Once they cross the 50, they feel like they're in the strike zone. All right? You don't have to be in the red zone to take those big shots downfield or go after the end zone. Right now, that might be available to him.
And now this first drive in OT continues. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
And he continues to pile up the yardage. That puts him over $150 now. And this defense has really had its problems trying to keep him contained.
They run with Murray down to the 30 after a gain of 3. They've had some success here in overtime in this opening drive running the football. Right back to that well.
And why not? When you have that kind of success, make them stop you. And until they do, keep going back to that well you just spoke about. I think there's more water there available to them.
Now a first throw here in overtime. That is caught right at the 10-yard line. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Holding offense.
That's a good chunk of yardage. It's going to be canceled out.
And we always talk about hidden yardage in a game. That's going to count as that because now it doesn't go on the books, but now they have to make that up again, don't they?
Following the penalty, it's Murray. 8 yards here, so that gets him back within striking distance. And now it's third down. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him. So when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the...
Oh, and it's intercepted. Ricardo Allen with a pick. Ooh, with a juke. And he is all the way up past the 25. A costly mistake here in OT.
And you know what they say, when you throw an interception like that in overtime, you don't usually get a chance to throw a second one. I mean, I'm not sure the analytics on it. Let's ask Marvin, our statistician, to ring that down for us. That's typically how coaches and teams feel about you. Throw one, you likely cost yourself the game.
The drive will start with a carry by Devontae Freeman. And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. Now what can Ryan do here in overtime? He'll rifle this one deep right side. And he's unable to grab it. Thought he might have had position, couldn't hold on, third down.
One thing I know from experience is that when the deep ball is thrown and you're the defender, you've got to fight that little bit of panic that emerges. You've got to play the ball really well. It's a 50-50 jump ball play. And guess what? They took a shot. How are you going to win it? And in this case, they managed to get it done.
Now Ryan. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And incomplete here on third down.
Well, they went for the big play there, but that drop could really hurt their momentum.
A big call here in overtime. They're going for it on fourth down. The Falcons will go for it. It's Ryan. And they're going to try the screen. It's complete. And now this is going to be close. The defense says they stopped him, and they did. And that makes him now 0 for 3 on fourth down attempts.
A lot of people would say they're showing a lot of guts going for it this many times on fourth down. I think they have to start thinking with their head a little bit more than with their gut and their emotions because it's not working for them. They've got to figure out what's been going wrong.
Now another timeout called for by the offense. They'll be down to just one remaining as we step aside here in overtime. They go with Murray again. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains. And I know you, with every carry, especially in overtime, you're just saying, if you're that ball carrier, hold on to the football.
Hold on to it, protect it, but not necessarily settling because you're trying to get to the end zone. You're trying to end the game right here. I know the defensive guys poking, clawing, raking, trying to knock the ball free and protect their end zone.
Yeah, like you alluded to, especially this part of the field. Carries piling up. It's Murray again. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. And now this game's going to come down to the right leg of their kicker. This to win it in overtime. And he got it. The kick is good in overtime. He's able to split the uprights. We were just treated to an absolute dandy in this one. A great finish in overtime with a long field goal. Everybody, including us, on the edge of their seats. Quite a game.
And it's rare that you get a game into overtime that